Okay. Gitrenaxematzemochboa. I greet you all. I admire and appreciate you. That's what it really kind of translates toward, I believe. This morning, it is Wednesday the 4th of October 2023, and I am at the river Confluence, the so-called Cottonwood Park. Used to be Nisco, the place where there were many deaths, and before that I think Nisco for many berries. I don't know, but it is the river Confluence and a very famous old Blackfoot camping area. And today I'm just going to take a little stroll around this morning and focus on the nature. You're not going to get any Ryan personal updates today. I need to take my mind off of that stuff, and let's just look at plants and animals and soils and rocks and stuff for a moment. Those of you who are normally tuned into the channel will probably remember I was last here maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was at the very beginning of the moon, right? And I recorded a couple of young bucks kind of tangling and going at it down there a little bit at the start of the rut, Awakasikis, from the deer moon. And at the same time, when I was coming down off the top, like I am now, I noted that we could hear the meadowlarks, and that we wouldn't be hearing them for very long. And sure enough, today, no meadowlarks. So, yeah, let's take a little stroll, see what's going on down here. I do have a couple of things in mind related to art projects that I have going, so may get into a little bit of that, which is kind of personal, I guess. But well, here, I'll just talk about it right now. I might as well just talk about it right now because I see an example. You see here, we have the leafy spurge plant, right? And its stem is kind of turning red, hey? And as it, comes into the colder, time of the year, like right now, as the leaves are turning and stuff like that, those stems are turning red. And I've found that if I clip those stems and dry them, they keep that red. And so I'm interested in gathering some of that. Oh look, we have a late showy violet, or it's not violet, showy aster, sorry. Showy aster. Nice. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to clip a bunch of those and start incorporating them into my stick box art and stuff. And I think right away what I'm going to use them in is with my porcupine quill box that I'm still working on. That'll put a nice color contrast, I think, to the white in that box. So I think I'm going to play with that and see how it looks. But I need to clip a bunch of those stems. So, and if that works out for me, that'd be kind of a cool thing, because leafy spurge is one of these plants that's looked at as an enemy plant. I'm trying to get this book. Well, I'm not really trying very hard. I could just go down to Chapters or whatever at the mall and buy it right now. It was released this year, called Pests, And but I'm waiting for the paperback edition to become available, and that won't happen until December, because I don't need the hardcover and I don't need to pay that much for it, you know. But I would like to read it, see what the author has to say about why we humans pick animals to make enemies out of. And certainly in the case of leafy spurge, and I think many of the plants and animals that say naturalists and the government promote as being problem species, I think why we choose those ones is because industrial agriculture says those are the bad plants. This is cool. I see a raccoon track going down here. So there's been raccoons passing recently. When did we have our rain? A few nights ago. Yeah, so I think industrial agriculture does that. Now look at this. I'm also interested now that I'm thinking about the leafy spurge stems. You know, I gotta look at this is the wild licorice stem, much thicker. Doesn't really match my matchsticks and porcupine quills the way that the leafy spurge does, but interesting to note that it's a nice red stem that could be used in something, even for maybe the edging or the trim on stuff that it needs to be a little bit thicker sometimes, you know. I don't know. I'm starting to look at look at the materials on hand that I have to play with different things. I was watching a video the other day on YouTube and seen somebody gather a bunch of leaves, fallen leaves, and boil them down and make ink out of them, make a natural ink. I'd like to try some of that stuff, making clays, making inks, making different dyes, you know. Haven't really played around with much of that, but you know, some of that here is lost art, because there certainly used to be a lot more use of natural pigments. And my late elder Meekskimmy Sokas, and he used to always point me toward the wood, hey, like the old bows. I should note here, while we're passing it, this is the tufted white prairie aster. Still some late blooms halfway into this lunar cycle. Yeah, he used to point me toward the wood and the way that it was like polished and stuff, and would tell me nobody knew how to get the wood to be like that these days. Not the same way, hey? Not the same way they did in the past. There was an art. I remember one of my one of my mentors, really, when I was in undergrad, late Tim Buckley, anthropologist, and he spent some time with Yurok in California, and would tell me that when they would polish their wood, a lot of times they'd use like you know, they just like pull on the, like behind the ear, the sweat, and use that, you know, stuff like that, body oils. So makes me wonder. Anyway, I'll get back to it when I see something to note. Couple of mule deer chilling on the sunny side of the coulee. I almost walked right down in there. I was thinking about going down and checking out that cut right in there and seeing what kind of rocks and stuff. Sometimes there's, in this park there's fossils, eh? But instead I figured I would come up on top of here. And this is a ridge that I used to bring Red Crow College students up on to pick, to dig moss. The infamous prairie turnip, which I don't know if it's more like a turnip or I guess it's more like a turnip than a potato, but it's pretty starchy, you know. More starchy than a turnip, but it peels like one. Anyway, I seem to remember there used to be ball cacti up here as well, and I could go for some Otstutsimon right now, so gonna have a look. Somebody making cairns and stuff out here. I don't know why. One year there was a nighthawk nested here. Oh yeah, there's a ball cactus, but no Stutsimon. We'll find some. We'll find some. This is the kind of place. Yeah. Yeah, there was a nighthawk nested up here. Only time I've been able to kind of monitor a nighthawk nest. Maybe I'm stuck. Maybe there's no more studs. By the way, I had to remind myself of the what you call that river junction, hey? Any river junction, you can call it. You know, when they come together. Looks like the battery's gonna play out in this camera. I'm gonna shut it off for the moment. Alright, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Otstutsimon. They're like grapes. Good stuff. And they're only available this time of year. I've never seen them or heard of them kind of preserved in the past, but I left some in a paper bag in my Jeep for half a year one time and found them, and they had dried up like nice little raisins and they tasted very sweet. So I find that they cure well too. But it's not easy to get a lot of them. Look at this. Big cacti, no berries. I wonder if there's a male and female for ball cactus, because this is a pretty mature cactus to have no berries. It's quite a clump. I should look into that. I don't know if they're male and female. That would make sense then, but unless they just have like apple trees They just have years when they don't produce, you know. The forest is looking glorious, of course, in all its fall colors. I'm just following deer trails, moving toward the river because I figure I should go check the beaver lodge, see how much their food cache has grown since the other week. Still haven't got that kayak trip ready to roll yet. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow. Friday I got some things scheduled. I got a buddy coming down from Edmonton, who's also one of the co-author level members of this channel. Okay, and he's the one that sent me on that quest to the Peace Shrine the other week, and he's coming down from Edmonton. I think Friday morning we're gonna go hike out here in Cottonwood. That's at the Otsitoto. I gotta drill that into my head. And yeah, so Friday I'm booked. Oh, I really like this kind of, you know, root driftwood stuff. Interesting. Just found this bakelite fossil on the river shore. Might be able to clean up this top one all right. I don't know. It's pretty fused. If you pull them apart, you know, you can get the little buffalo shaped fossil known as Iniskim. Buffalo stone in Blackfoot. Looks like the beavers have been coming here to eat willow. Got some sticks and stuff left right here on the shore. We're almost to their lodge. It's a little clan of geese. Also had, I think, some chickadees kind of following me for a bit, and a magpie. And is there a gull still around here? There was a gull just standing by the river here a minute ago. Ring-bill gulls are always kind of late to migrate. Really not too much more food cached in the last 2 weeks at this lodge. Starting to get kind of windy out here. I've picked my plants that I want to play with. It's the red stem leafy spurge I'm going to experiment with. I also decided to pick some of this scouring rush stuff here because, I don't know, it looks cool. Almost bamboo. Definitely an old school plant, you know. So I'm going to see about, I'm going to dry some of that and then play with that a little bit too. Alright, I guess we'll head her back through the forest and on to the coulee slope. rattlesnake just in here. See if I can show you. I don't know if I'm getting her for you or not. She's backing up into the hole. Didn't know if there would be any snakes out, but still one female basking. I found this bone on one of the cliffs as I was coming up, fossilized. I'm betting it's real ancient alligator or sea turtle. I kind of found it in that area where I've come across bones from those guys before. Almost to the top of the coulees now. Shouldn't be long. Well, I guess that's it for this hike. Nothing too wildly exciting or unusual. Just a lot of wind.